Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So on this current video, I'm going to be giving you an update regarding Paul Pogba, and there is lots of other things to currently talk about. So recent reports have emerged out saying that reportedly Paul Pogba is desperate to quit Manchester United. So obviously he has got the same perception, than what he had during the course of the summer. Because basically for the entirety of the summer, Paul Pogba wanted to leave, and obviously he did reveal that at the beginning of the summer, because obviously he did say he wanted to leave Manchester United to seek for a new challenge, and obviously wanted to rejuvenate his career and all that. So he still basically wants to leave Manchester United, and obviously his preference is either a move to Real Madrid or to make a return back to Turin. Obviously for the entirety of the summer transfer window, his actual preference was a move to Real Madrid. But I already give you the main reason why Paul Pogba's move to Real Madrid didn't materialise during the summer. It was obviously reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we was adamant he wasn't for sale, but we said we wanted somewhere in the region of around £180 million. Obviously, Real Madrid were reluctant to pay that, but it's probably more than likely they'll reignite their interest in Paul Pogba anywhere next year, because Zinedine Zidane identified him as his main priority target during the course of the summer transfer window. But Real Madrid, themselves spent a substantial amount during the summer. They spent around £300 million on around 5 players. Obviously, they're still looking to recommend more players into their football club. Obviously, they did sell some players during the summer, so they did generate some of the money back. But yeah, Paul Pogba anyway, overall, has missed the vast majority of the games for Man United this season. Obviously, he's had an ongoing ankle injury that's been surrounding the player for a matter of weeks. The last league game Paul Pogba played was the 1-1 draw with Arsenal early on in the season. But he has been out with an ankle injury, like I mentioned. But like I did give you the news last week, it's confirmed that Paul Pogba had travelled to Amsterdam to have his ankle cast removed, so that indicates out that he's closer to recovering from injury. But Solskjaer did say he still does not expect Paul Pogba back in action until December. But I think it's very, very imminent. He will end up, leaving the club in January. But, regardless of whether Paul Pogba stays or goes next year, we still do need to address that midfield, because I have got element of concerns about that midfield. But Paul Pogba now is into his 4th season as a Manchester United player since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. And obviously, for the vast majority of his, tenure, at Man United, since he rejoined from Juventus, he has been mainly inconsistent in comparison to his time in Turin and that, because he did have 4 good years with Juventus. We obviously paid £89 million for him. He is our most expensive signing, is Paul Pogba, but Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player he is, and we have seen glimpses of how good Paul Pogba can be. We mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. I think prior to that, his performances at Man United have been totally comparison, to what we saw, during his time with Juventus. But Paul Pogba, has still got 2 years left on his current contract at the club. We have also have an option to extend his contract by a further year, and he is of course on around 290 grand a week. So in that aspect, he is one of the highest paid players at the football club, and he's still 26 years of age, so he can still quite frankly say he's in his prime, and he has still got a lot of development in him. But like I mentioned, he should be back in action in December. Solskjaer did say there was actually a slight chance that he could play against Sheffield United on Sunday, but I am actually very, very sceptical about it, and so too is Solskjaer. So yeah, so that's the latest news regarding Paul Pogba. He still is desperate to quit Manchester United and that, but I think it's probably likely he'll end up making the move to Real Madrid and that. if he doesn't go to Real Madrid, I think he will go to Juventus and that. Just also on this video, I want to give you a bit of team news. Building up to the game on Sunday against Sheffield United. It is at Bramall Lane. Obviously, it is our 13th game of the Premier League season. Obviously, so far we're 12 games into the Premier League season. We've won. We've won 4, we've drawn 4, and we've lost 4. So in that aspect, we've only registered 16 points from a possible 36, and we know obviously that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. We are sitting 7th in the league at the moment. We are around 9 points behind top 4. As you all know, I have fully disregarded that top 4. Maybe these still. Obviously there's still a long way to go in this season. There's still a lot of twists and turns to come. I am aware, that we have recently, rejuvenated ourselves, which is very, very good. I think prior to the 1-0 defeat to Bournemouth in the last 6 games or so, since the Liverpool game, basically, there's been a variety of changes. Certain players have stepped up to the plate. We have seen a lot of tactical flexibility. And obviously, as you all know, for the vast majority of this season, a lot of Manchester United fans, including me, have been criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics because for the vast majority of this season, Solskjaer has been tactically naive. Some of his substitutions have been questionable and that. But I think we've won, 5 of our last 6 games in all competitions and that. So maybe reflecting on our good run of form recently, some pressure has eased off Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But I still believe he's definitely now under pressure at the football club. But he actually was under intense pressure, before the Liverpool game. So hopefully we can keep this good run of form, if we can if we can keep this good run of form up, by getting a result against Sheffield United on Sunday. I did initially say, didn't I, anywhere at the start of this season that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top 4, so we can obviously get back into the Champions League. But I think, from my own perception, I think our only route to Champions League football for next season is to progress in the Europa League. And the positive is that we are in the knockout stages of the Europa League. We've still 2 games remaining, and we're also into the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. But I didn't initially say anywhere my aspirations will be that top 4 at least in the next couple of seasons, because I think for us to be back being a competitive elite level football club, and also for us to be future title contenders, I think it's very imperative that our recruitment improves. We've also got to get the right calibre players to Man United in the next couple of windows. And I did initially say anyway, I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings, maybe even more. But we've definitely got to address all the deficiencies in the squad, without a shadow of a doubt. But I don't think we're going to win the league for at least the next couple of years, because analysing it at the moment, City are strides ahead of us. Obviously, Liverpool are strides ahead of us. But so we'll go with the team news anyway. Obviously this season, Man United have had a lot of injuries, and obviously in that aspect, anywhere, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a lot of alterations in the squad, and some players have obviously now come back from injury. Obviously, we have still got quite a lot of players out. Like I said, Paul Pogba is out, so he definitely won't be playing against Sheffield United. Also, Scott McTominay, he will not be playing on Sunday, because don't forget, during the international break, McTominay had to withdraw from the Scotland squad. He had to withdraw from the Scotland squad, with his ankle injury. McTominay obviously had initial scans on his ankle to find out the extent of the injury, and it is actually now quite severe. So I think it's assured that McTominay will miss the games against City and Tottenham next month. But analysing it, McTominay is going to be a big miss, because of McTominay has been a revelation this season for Man United. He has been a consistent start this season, but reflecting on his impressive performances, McTominay has deserved to keep his place in the team. Don't get me wrong, in regards to him being a long-term solution for Man United, I have got element of concerns about that. But fair play to him. He's hit the ground running. He's still only 22 years of age. He's out with an ankle injury. Got some news as well. Solskjaer's provided this news. Obviously, we're going to know more tomorrow about a know a bit more tomorrow about the team news and that, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does his press conference building up to the game. Obviously I'll interpret some of the stuff he mentions and that, like we always do on this channel. But he did give us some news regarding Matic, Luke Shaw and Tuanzebe, and he's confirmed, they're back in full training. Matic obviously has recently been out with a minor problem. Obviously now due to the absence of Scott McTominay, Matic will obviously take his place in the midfield. Luke Shaw, I think he's been out. He's been out for 3 months as Luke Shaw, but the good news is now he's back in full training. Luke Shaw hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace earlier on in the season. And you can quite frankly say that Luke Shaw has been a big miss. I've got to say now, despite the fact that Luke Shaw's our first choice left back and he's been our first choice left back, for the vast majority of the time he's been at Man United, and I think this is now his 5th season at the football club. And don't forget, he also won the double player of the season last season. But I think you could say now anywhere that Brandon Williams is a better solution than him at left back. I've also got to agree that he's also a much better solution than Ashley Young is Brandon Williams. And Brandon Williams in the games he's played and he's been a revelation. I know I did say there more first team promotions, Brandon Williams anywhere, if he could keep if he could keep the consistency up, and he was fantastic on his full Premier League debut in the 3-1 win against Brighton and that. But it's still very, very good, that Luke Shaw is recovering from injury, and I'm very, very delighted about that. I know he's injury prone, is Luke Shaw. He's sustained quite a few injuries as a Man United player, but I think prior to that and prior to the bad spell he had under Mourinho, I think he's done really well as Luke Shaw. And with Tuanzebe, like I said, he's back in training. He obviously has been out with a hip injury. Don't forget, the last game he played was the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. Tuanzebe, don't forget, was named in the starting 11 against Liverpool. But obviously, during the warm-up, he sustained a hip injury, so obviously couldn't play in the game against Liverpool. News regarding Dalot. I think, this game could come too soon for him on Sunday. I read some recent reports about Diego Dalot, and it did say he's close now to recovering from injury. I think it did say it was still fully unknown when he was going to be back in contention, but Diego Dalot anyway sustained quite a few injuries this season. We've also got Eric Bailly still out. He's out with a knee injury. Obviously Fosu Mensah is still out with injury. So, we have still got quite a lot of injuries. I do presume that Solskjaer's probably going to go with a 4-2-3-1 formation on Sunday because, that's the formation, for the vast majority of this season, that's mainly the formation, we've stuck with. Obviously, Solskjaer's tried a few different elements, to try and turn his managerial tenure around at Man United, He obviously tried a few different formations and that. He obviously a few times went with 3 at the back. He obviously on the other occasion went with a 4-3-3 and that. But mainly, we do stick with a 4-2-3-1 formation. But Sheffield United is going to be a really, really tough game to be quite honest because, Sheffield United themselves this season have been a revelation. They only came up to the Premier League, they only came up last season, did Sheffield United. Well, they obviously progressed in the Championship last season and obviously came up to the Premier League this season and they've done really, really well. I think they're sitting now, 5th in the Premier League and that. I've also got to praise Chris Wilder. I think he's done a really, really good job with them. A lot of people believe he would be the right candidate, at Man United to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But you've got to admire him for what he's done at Sheffield United. He's managed, various clubs and that. He's obviously emulated himself up. He obviously began managing Sheffield United in 2016 and that. So he's progressed then basically from League One to 5th in the Premier League. And now this is his 4th season with Sheffield United. Before he was at Sheffield United, he was... I think he was at Oxford. He also had quite a long spell with Northampton. He also managed Halifax and Northampton Town. So that not Northampton Town, Alfred Town, sorry. So they're the teams that he's currently managed. The last meeting between Man United and Sheffield United, I think, was back in 2016. I think it was back in the FA. It was in the FA Cup, and I think we beat them by 1-0. I think it was a Rooney penalty the 90th minute. I'm sure it was this under the Louis van Gaal era, or was it under the Jose Mourinho era? I can't remember, but we did win the game by 1-0. But I have seen a variety of changes recently. Like I said, we've seen to be also creating more chances. Recently, and I did say in the vast majority of our games this season, we have been struggling to create chances, and this is the explanation. Why we haven't been scoring enough goals. Recently, we've also seen to be scoring more goals. Which is absolutely fantastic, and the performances have seemed to improve in that. So there has been a variety of changes, but despite that, my perceptions, still don't really change regarding Solskjaer. I still don't think Solskjaer is a long-term future for Manchester United. But I can definitely assure that Solskjaer, will still be here at the end of the season, because I think the club are willing to give him at least a couple more windows, to see who else he can recommend to the football club. So I think basically, our board have softened their stance on Solskjaer, because they see it as that he's a club legend, and that obviously he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years. He flourished in that under Alex Ferguson's guidance, and Ferguson did transform him into a winner. But I think disregarding being a club legend and that, maybe he would have been gone by now. But you've got to probably say that the Liverpool game, the Norwich game, they're probably the two games you could arguably say that saved Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the football club. But don't forget, he has got a 3-year contract to Solskjaer with Man United. He'd been given this 3-year contract. Back in March, early on this year, when he had been given the job permanently. But I can still almost assure that Solskjaer will not see out his 3-year contract at Manchester United. And that I've said to you on numerous occasions recently that, if, we can keep this good run of form up until January, or until the end of the season at least, then maybe my perceptions, will start changing regarding Solskjaer. But Solskjaer still insists, he's the right manager to elevate Manchester United forward. Obviously, you've got Ed Woodward, who's obviously got the same perception as Solskjaer. Ed Woodward, obviously recently assured not too long ago that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe. So he's obviously now got the same perception. Recently as well, Marcus Rashford has come out, and he actually now insists that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right manager for Man United, and that this is from Rashford's perception and that. But to be fair, I think Rashford has actually done really, really well recently. Anywhere, I think he scored 8 goals in his last 8 starts for club and country. So that just indicates how much he's rejuvenated himself. Rashford's now has scored 54 goals for the football club in all competitions since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016. So this is Rashford's 4th season now in the senior squad with Man United and that. But he is only 22 years of age. So that was coming out from Rashford. I think also Anthony Martial, since he come back from injury, he's obviously done very, very well. And we are all aware anyway that Anthony Martial does add more inspiration in that attacking third of the pitch. Don't get me wrong, we do, for the vast majority of this season, we've looked very exposed in that attacking line, following the dismissals of Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez. But we definitely still need at least one striker. We need someone to come in that can create more chances, someone who can be more effective in the box, and we need to get that adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, as you all know. And all that. But yeah, so I still don't think he's the right manager for Man United in my opinion. Obviously, everyone will have a different perception, but these certain games you can pinpoint out this season anywhere. Arguably, what Manchester United should have won. You could say we should have won at Wolves away. Good first half, probably poor second half. We should have won against Crystal Palace at home. That's the game we shouldn't have lost. First time we lost to them in Premier League history. We should have probably won at Southampton away. That's another game, Man United should have won. So in certain games we do create chances, but we just don't seem to have that clinical element. But it's been comparison recently because we've seen to be, more clinical in front of goal, which is a positive. But, we've actually enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years. So, like I did put into the equation, the last time we had as bad a start to a season was this. was back under the Ron Atkinson era, and that was actually before the Alex Ferguson era and that. And but even if we did decide to sack Solskjaer, obviously at any time, whether it was at this present time or in the future, as long as it was obviously within that 3-year contract, then obviously it's gonna cost the club a substantial amount of money to get rid of him anywhere. Obviously, we'd have to pay something in compensation. We probably wouldn't have to pay a substantial amount, to get rid of Sol. Well, not as substantial as of how much we paid to get rid of Jose Mourinho and that. But obviously, we would still have to pay something. But yeah, we will keep him for now. Obviously, there's been a change of scenario on that though now. Regarding this, because obviously, as you all know now, Pochettino is linked with a managerial role at Manchester United and that. I'm actually still sceptical about Pochettino coming in at this present time. I don't think it will happen, but I think definitely Pochettino will get another job, because obviously it did get revealed on Tuesday evening that Pochettino had been sacked from Tottenham, because obviously Tottenham then endured a very difficult start to the season anyway. They're sitting 14th in the league. But Pochettino, did endure a 5-year tenure with Tottenham. This was his current sixth season with Tottenham. But I think analysing the vast majority of his tenure with Tottenham, I thought he did really, really well. He obviously got them to their first ever Champions League final last season. They've obviously come close on a couple of occasions to winning the league of Tottenham. Obviously, they got runners up back in 2017 in the Premier League. Pochettino progressed them to League Cup final in his first full season. Obviously guided them to a couple of third place finishes, so he really did a good job. And I think there's actually a lot of Man United fans demanding him in, and that I think he'd probably do a better job than Solskjaer, but a lot of Man United fans think he would be the right candidate for Man United, because obviously he's well proven in the Premier League. He's good at developing a lot of young players. The only element of concern I have got about Pochettino is that he hasn't won out in terms of silverware. That's really only the element of concern. But prior to that, I would be more than happy for him to come in. Don't forget, after the sacking of Jose Mourinho from Man United in December of last year, Mauricio Pochettino was our primary candidate. He was our primary candidate. Was Pochettino, but obviously at the time, we didn't get him, because obviously at that time he was reluctant to leave Tottenham, and like I put into the equation, Daniel Levy is a hard negotiator, and that don't forget. But at that time we would have had to pay something in compensation, probably around 32 million in compensation. I think it was in the summer of 2018, by the way, that Pochettino had signed a 5-year contract with Tottenham. But he didn't only do well at Tottenham, I think he also did very, very well during his short period with Southampton. He obviously, before he was at Southampton, he managed Espanyol. So in total, he's managed for just over a decade as Mauricio Pochettino. But I think the couple of reasons our preference was Solskjaer over Pochettino, and that is because obviously Solskjaer knows the traditions of the club. Also, Solskjaer was a cheaper solution. We didn't really have to pay that much, to recommend him in from Malta. Also, you can't take that into account and that. But it's going to be interesting to see anyway, what Jose Mourinho can do at Tottenham. Obviously, it was yesterday, I think it was made official that Jose Mourinho got appointed as Tottenham's new manager and that. The question is, do you think he's going to succeed at Tottenham? Obviously, it's been confirmed that Mourinho has signed a contract with Tottenham until the end of the 2022-23 season. He's set to earn around £15 million a year, and that's almost double, than what Mauricio Pochettino earned, because I think Pochettino earned around, was it 8.5 million when he did sign that new contract. So it's nearly, it's basically now almost double. But yeah, so he's currently the new Tottenham manager. But Jose Mourinho, during his managerial career so far, has won 25 major honours. obviously, is still regarded as one of the best managers in the world, reflecting on his success and that, and he's got a fantastic pedigree. Obviously, I've already given you the variety of reasons, why his, tenure, didn't work out at Man United, but Jose Mourinho enjoyed a 2.5 year tenure at Man United and at the football club. But the reason it didn't work out under him is because obviously he had bad disputes with the board, they had bad disputes with the top players, the board weren't backing the signings that I wanted to recommend to the football club last summer. Jose Mourinho though did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season there with Man United, and he did spend a substantial amount at the club. He spent around 400 million, or was it just under 400 million pounds on 11 players? But he's well Premier League proven as well as Jose Mourinho. But at Man United, I just don't think at the time his philosophy was right for the club. He had no sort of transfer strategy. I think, from my own perception, we should have actually, recommended Jose Mourinho at an earlier point. I think you could arguably say, we should have got him in after Alex Ferguson. Mourinho also won 3 Premier League titles with Chelsea. He also won the FA Cup with Chelsea. He had obviously he enjoyed 2 spells with Chelsea. He won the Champions League with Porto and Inter Milan. So he's achieved quite a lot. But maybe his philosophy will be alright for Tottenham, and he can obviously elevate Tottenham forward. So that's been confirmed. Mourinho is the new Tottenham manager anyway. But there's been quite a few managers on our agenda, overall anywhere, who could replace Solskjaer at the football club. Don't forget, there was a lot of talks about Max Allegri, about 3 weeks ago now, wasn't it? There was a lot of talks about Max Allegri, coming to Man United. I think at one point he was actually our primary candidate to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. I think Max Allegri is totally comparison to Jose Mourinho. Basically, I think they are 2 different managers. Obviously, with Max Allegri, he's obviously never managed in the Premier League and that. He's actually so far spent the entirety of his managerial career in Italy. Obviously, he's emulated himself up and that over the years, because he actually started managing, small various Italian clubs. He's managerless at the moment. He's Max Allegri, as far as I'm aware. He stepped down as Juventus manager at the end of last season. And obviously, he enjoyed a 5-year tenure with Juventus. He won the vast majority of his silverware with Juventus. He also did progress them to 2 Champions League finals. But Man United were in for him at one point. But we'll stick with Solskjaer for now. Obviously, Solskjaer is anywhere our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. We're not really known for a sacking club. Despite the fact we've already sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. Obviously, David Moyes got sacked after, he only enjoyed 10 months at the football club. He's actually had the shortest tenure at the football club since the Ferguson era. Obviously, Louis van Gaal got sacked after just over a year, despite the fact he won the FA Cup. And obviously, Mourinho got sacked after 2.5 years. His tenure got ended in the 3-1 defeat. What ended Jose Mourinho's tenure was the 3-1 defeat to Liverpool last season and that. But I haven't really seen much improvements under Solskjaer than what I saw under Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho prior to recently. And obviously, prior to that 3-month period when he was the interim manager, Solskjaer. But overall, Solskjaer's been at Man United now for around 11 months. So he's been here nearly a year now. He's obviously been permanent boss for around 8 months. Like I said, for the vast majority of that 8 months, he's enjoyed a difficult time, like I mentioned. But maybe he still does deserve more time at the club. And like I did pinpoint out, I think, Man United have made several mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years. Probably one of the reasons why we've been a toxic football club. Maybe not, the main reason, not the only reason, but that's probably, one of the reasons. I think it was a bad mistake from the football club, giving Solskjaer the job. I don't think, we should have given Solskjaer the job. I think we should have waited until the end of last season, or we should have waited at some point until this season to decide or not, whether to give him the job. I think you could arguably say it was also a mistake from us, getting rid of Evander Herrera as well. it also infuriated me that, we didn't only get rid of him, we let his contract run down and we let him go on a free transfer. So Man United have made quite a lot of mistakes. I still believe we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. I definitely do believe that we need to get rid of our current board because they have been a liability for several years of the board. We need to get rid of them. I think we also still need to get rid of Ed Woodward, even though he recently promised world-class signings at Man United, because he replicates the board. He's been a liability for several years. I think there is still more players that, by the way, that do need to leave Man United, despite the fact that a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. And they have, and that's good that we did get rid of a lot of the deadwood during the summer, but I still believe, from my own perception now, these still players here that are no longer good enough to represent the football club. But Italy, was a very popular destination for the vast majority of our players during the summer, because a lot of our players did go to Italy. Some of them went on permanent deals, some of them, of course, went out on loan. So I think, the problematic players are Ashley Young. He's definitely one of the problematic players. And, I think we definitely need to get rid of him, because analysing it, Ashley Young has passed his sell-by date at the football club. Young is now 34 years of age. He's 35 next year. And it was a bad mistake for Man United last season, giving Ashley Young that new one-year extension. And he's been a long-serving player with the football club. Young is now into his ninth season as a Man United player, but he has endured 8 years here. And there is question marks regarding Solskjaer on that. Why is has he been playing Young on a regular basis this season? But he's definitely passed his sell-by date. I think Phil Jones is another one of the problematic players. We've also got to get rid of him. He's been here more or less the same amount of time as Ashley Young, as Phil Jones. He's been here since the Alex Ferguson era. Jones is now into his 9th season as a Man United player. He has been here 8 years, but we need to get rid of him. And yeah, again, another mistake for Man United last season, giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract. And I said his appearances in the Premier League are now limited anyway, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre backs are Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. But like I said, Jones will get his opportunities in like the Europa League and the Carabao Cup and that. But prior to that, won't really get enough opportunities. Marcus Rojo, now obviously some Man United fans have different perceptions on him. I think recently Solskjaer revealed the reason. He revealed the reason why he wants to keep Rojo at the club, and I think he could stay at least for another year. But I think Man United and Solskjaer are preventing him from leaving next year, Rojo. And I was surprised that Rojo didn't leave the club during the course of the summer. Very, very surprised at that because he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Don't forget Everton had inquired about getting him. We had around a £25 million valuation on him. But I think, Everton were reluctant to pay that. And Rojo has still got just under 2 years left on his contract with Man United. I think this is now his 5th season at the club, by the way, and we have seen glimpses of how good Rojo can be. Don't get him wrong, his versatility, he's very, very good, Don't get me wrong, his versatility is very, very good, and that, he's predominantly centre back, but he can also play as a full back and a wing back and that. But yeah, I still think we need to move him on. Definitely, Nemanja Matic, he's one of the problematic players, and I think we've definitely now got to move him on, because I've got a lot of reservations about him. And he's initially lost his place in the team anyway. Totally comparison to last season, because actually last season Nemanja Matic was first choice, but he is no longer first choice now. He is obviously now 31 years of age anyway, so he's getting older. He isn't getting any younger. And I will agree on the aspect, that Man United did overpay for Matic, because we paid around £40 million for him from Chelsea back in 2017. and he's now into his third season as a Manchester United player. But for me, too slow, makes that midfielder look totally imbalanced. But yeah, and his current contract, by the way, expires at the end of the season. We do have an option to extend his contract by a further year, but I'm very, very sceptical that Man United, will obviously, extend his contract by a further year. Some people believe that we need to get rid of Jesse Lingard. I still probably say he's a long-term solution for Man United because, we have seen the best of him. Don't get me wrong. Reflect on his status and the number of years he's been at Man United. He should be performing to the standards as we should expect of him, but obviously, he hasn't currently done that, so I have been very, very disappointed with him. So there's definitely still more players that do need to leave the football club, definitely. But yeah, definitely more players do need to currently leave. And I think, as he updated you recently as well, it did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is only going to be given around £200 million to spend in January and next summer. But, these question marks regarding that, is that enough, for us, to address the deficiencies in the squad? Basically, for me, from my own perception, I think it's, dependent on, how we are with our recruitment. Are we going to overpay for players? Are we, going to be sensible over our recruitment? I know, obviously, we've been known for overpaying for players, recent years, but, we'll see what happens. But, there's some aspects of me, that do credit Solskjaer, because Solskjaer, did recommend, 3 good players to the squad during the summer, and I think maybe for 200 million we could maybe get 3 or 4 players. Minimum we can get 2 for 200 million pounds, but we got 3 during the summer for nearly 150 million pounds. Obviously we spent around 80 million pounds on Daniel James, about 50 million on Wan-Bissaka, and around 80 million pounds on Harry Maguire and that, and they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Man United careers, and we did address some of the problematic areas during the course of the summer and that. But there's only 3 players that are Solskjaer's. Like I put into the equation before, the vast majority of this team isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so you can also take that into account. The vast majority of these players are actually Jose Mourinho's. There's still some players here from the Louis van Gaal era. There's still Matty from the David Moyes era, and there's still quite a few players here from the Alex Ferguson era. Yeah. So yeah, he's still in the process of rebuilding, but we've got to be ruthless in over the course of the next couple of windows at least. But yeah, I think we need 2 midfielders, to be honest with you. That's one of the priority areas where Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need an attacking midfielder, we need a centre defensive midfielder. I don't think we need that. We need a striker, like I mentioned. I think we also need a right winger. I don't think that getting a right winger in is as much as a priority as getting a striker or midfielder in, but it would be beneficial if you could recommend a right winner in. But like I said to you anyway, we have got a lot of players on our agenda who we could go in for next year, and that, Solskjaer is making plans for January. What are you doing?
Wondered who you were talking to.
Solskjaer is making plans for January and that, and I think, well, he did reveal during the summer, didn't he, that he does want to continue the policy of recruiting young British players and that, and but I think he did recently say he's considering, changing his transfer strategy. But he's actually in that aspect of recruiting, young players. He replicates Ferguson, because obviously, going back to the Ferguson era, he developed a lot of young players. He controlled a lot of the transfer policies. He controlled a lot of the contracts. Obviously, basically the vast majority of our success came under Ferguson, because we won 38 trophies under Alex Ferguson's guidance. He served around 26 years at Man United, and I'm just very, very sceptical that Solskjaer can invoke Ferguson's legacy, to save him at Man United. And I think regardless of whoever our manager is, we wouldn't be we'll never be the team, that we was under Alex Ferguson. So we've obviously got to accept that. But yeah, so I do believe, from my own perception anyway, we'll do the vast majority of our transfer business next summer. So we'll look to sign 1 or 2 players in January. Obviously, the players that are on our agenda. Obviously, there's been a lot of speculation going on, hasn't there? At least in the last couple of weeks about Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho. Reportedly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has identified them two as his main priority targets, and reportedly, probably will cost us, according to reports in the region, of around £200 million. Obviously, that is a substantial amount. I think Erling Haaland will cost us in the excess of around 85 million. Jadon Sancho will cost us in the excess of around £100 million. But I gave you the news, didn't I, recently, regarding Erling Haaland, and it did say that his current father had visited Manchester United's training ground, so obviously that had fueled more speculation up and that. So I think it could be very imminent that we're going to get him in January. If we are obviously prepared to meet that evaluation. I think the beneficial thing about recommending Erling Haaland is that obviously he's played under Solskjaer's guidance, during his time with Mould and that. Obviously Solskjaer gave him his debut.
I think you need that, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what fucking Bell ends up, also.
Showing his giving his Mould debut, and so I think Solskjaer's keen on reuniting with a player. Erling Haaland's been a revelation for Red Bull Salzburg this season. He's scored 26 goals in 18 games in all competitions. 7 goals have come in the Champions League and that, and he's been a revelation in the Champions League. And I think if he comes to Man United, he can replicate what he's done at Red Bull Salzburg this season. And he is only 19 years of age. He's Erling Haaland, but there has been a lot of talks about him. I think quite a few other teams have attracted their interest in the player. But I would be excited about the prospect of him, playing alongside the likes of Daniel James, Martial, and Marcus Rashford. So yeah, he's one player on our agenda. Is him. Jadon Sancho, I'd love Jadon Sancho at Man United again. I think he would be the right calibre player for the football club. Don't forget, Man United anywhere have been long-term admirers of Jadon Sancho. We have basically been in for him, since January of this year. Obviously, he was actually our main priority target in January. We actually inquired about getting him during the summer. But obviously, our move got skewed for Jadon Sancho with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. Because I did say, when you're not in a Champions League football, it's obviously going to be harder to attract players to the elite level, like I mentioned. But Jadon Sancho is primarily a right winger. Don't forget, you can also play him centrally, but he is primarily a right winger and that. He's been at Borussia Dortmund a couple of years. He's now currently into his third season at Dortmund, and I think he's enjoyed he's enjoying the difficult time at this present time anywhere. Is Jadon Sancho. But I think he recently revealed anywhere that he does want to leave Borussia Dortmund. He's probably, if we are to get Jadon Sancho, it's probably more imminent that we'll get him next summer, or rather than January in that, because he revealed that he wanted to leave next summer. But looking at it, Borussia Dortmund got Jadon Sancho for next to note. They only paid around £7 or £8 million for him from Man City. That's all they paid for him. That's all they paid for him and that. But obviously analysed his performances in the couple of years he's been with Dortmund. His valuation has obviously now persistently grown and that. His valuation has persistently grown. And he has been a revelation in Germany since his arrival from Man City. So obviously now, like I said, he's going to cost us in the excess of around £100 million. Sancho's still under contract with Dortmund until 2022. And he's only 19 years of age. And Sancho did serve a couple of years with Man City. Obviously, the reason he left Man City is because obviously Man City couldn't show him first team football week in, week out. And this is the reason I did currently leave. It hasn't only been Man United in for him. Don't forget, Liverpool have been in for him. They've attracted their interest. I think the likes of PSG and Real Madrid have also been in for him. But I'd love Jadon Sancho in because he can create chances, he can score goals, his runs on and off the ball are good. For Borussia Dortmund, he's made quite a lot of appearances now. He's made 74 appearances in all competitions. 55 of those appearances, I think, have come in the Bundesliga. But he has done really, really well in that. So yeah, So he still remains on our agenda. But Solskjaer has got, well, it said he'd drawn around an 8-man, transfer list of long-term targets and that. I think it's also very, very imminent that we are gonna sign Mario Mandzukic in January. I think that's also, going to happen according to a lot of reports. Don't forget, we inquired about getting Mario Mandzukic during the course of the summer, but obviously now we didn't get him. I think the good thing is about us bringing Mario Mandzukic is that he is a cheap solution. He only will cost the club around 10 million or just over 10 million pounds. I think we are prepared to hand him around an 18-month contract, something like that. Anyway, an 18-month contract because we're not going to give him a long-term contract. Obviously, regarding his age, but I think, it said we could get Mario Mandzukic before January. So if we can reach an informal agreement with Juventus before January, then he said Mario Mandzukic could start training with the club in December and that. But I think his preference is to move to Man United because he's obviously, made a decision on his future anyway. So I think Mandzukic will be our 4th signing overall under the Solskjaer era and our first signing probably, in January, unless we get him before January. Mario Mandzukic, I admire him, he's had a good career. He obviously hasn't played a single minute under Maurizio Sarri's guidance this season. He scored 44 goals in 162 games for Juventus in all competitions, but he's been at Juventus now around 4 years. I think now, or is it 5 years he's been at Juventus, but he's a good replacement for Lukaku. Obviously, he isn't a long-term replacement for Lukaku, so he's another one of the players on our agenda. Moussa Dembele is obviously another player on our agenda, and that again, I think he would be the right caliber player for Manchester United. Would Moussa Dembele. Again, if we are to go in for him next year, he will cost the club a substantial amount. I do believe we'd probably have to pay an estimated guess in the excess of around 60 or 70 million pounds. The good thing is though, and the beneficial thing is that he's an out-and-out number 9. Plus, he's played in the Premier League before. Don't forget, he began his senior career with Fulham. Obviously, after Fulham, he had a good couple of years in Scotland with Celtic. And so far, he's at Lyon. This is actually his 2nd season with Lyon and that, but I think he's enjoying a difficult time at the moment. But I think if he comes to Man United, he can replicate, what he's done at all them teams. He is still under contract with Lyon until 2023. Lyon did pay around £20 million from Celtic last summer and that. So yeah, he's another player on our agenda. So there is quite a lot of attackers on our agenda. I also give you the news, didn't I? Was it quite a few days ago now, regarding Matheus Pereira, who's currently on loan with West Brom. He's been a revelation in the Championship this season. Yes, he has. And it reportedly said Man United are, planning to make a shock move for him. Obviously, West Brom, I've got him on loan. Like I said, West Brom paid around £750,000 to get him on loan. They do have the option to make the deal permanent. After the loan, West Brom will have to pay around £8.25 million to make the deal permanent. Don't forget, he is 23 years of age. He's Matheus Pereira. He is, primarily a winner. He's had quite a few loan spells. Before he was at West Brom, he had a loan spell with FC Nuremberg. He also had a loan spell with Chavs, but he's currently on loan at West Brom from Sporting Lisbon. So if West Brom don't make the deal permanent, then he probably could return back to Sporting Lisbon and that. But yeah, so he's also on our current agenda and that. There's also quite a few midfielders on our agenda, as you all know. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is back on our agenda, but we've been long admirers of him anyway, because during the course of the summer transfer window, he was our main priority target, but we didn't get him during the summer. We didn't get him during the summer because we couldn't basically come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon, because they was demanding a substantial amount, and obviously we were reluctant to pay it and that. But reportedly now, Sporting Lisbon are open to selling him, because Sporting Lisbon are looking to raise funds to clear their debt off of around £57 million. So looking to raise around £57 million or more to obviously clear this debt. So I think we'd have to pay around £65 million if we had to get Bruno Fernandes in January. Bruno Fernandes is now 25, by the way. He's predominantly an attacking midfielder. But again, I think he would be the right calibre player for Man United. He's obviously he hasn't played in the Premier League as yet. You know, when he was younger, he spent the majority of his career in Italy, you know, with Udinese and Sampdoria. Well, I should say he spent the entirety of his career in Italy before his arrival in Portugal. But he's been, again, a revelation for Sporting Lisbon. There was Tottenham and Liverpool also in for him during the summer, but it was mainly Man United that were in for him. So, you know, we have got so many players on our current agenda in that, but we'll see what happens over the course of the next couple of windows. But I do presume anywhere that we're orchestrating on spending another substantial amount on recruiting new players in, and as you all know. But, you know, like I said, you know, Solskjaer hasn't really got that managerial experience, you know, not really to the highest level. So that's also another that's an element of concern, basically. You know, Solskjaer as a manager, his comparison to as he was as a player, because as a player he was absolutely fantastic, and he has got that proven pedigree as a player in that. But as a manager, you know, he just hasn't really got it. That's the element of concern, but it still doesn't mean he can't succeed at Manchester United. One thing I do credit him for again is that, you know, he has got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players, so that's something else I do credit him for. And analysing it, you know, we have got a lot of young upcoming players in our squad. I did say, you know, some of them will become a success at Man United, I can assure that, but I think we need to consider, you know, getting rid of some of the young upcoming players, because, you know, I think it just would be beneficial, and if we did that, it would be a good piece of business from the football club, you know, yeah, and that's, you know, mainly everything to update you with. So the main part of this video, guys, you know, was to give you the news regarding Paul Pogba and all the rest of the other news. Paul Pogba's revealed he still wants to quit Manchester United and that. So, anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.